What up, guys? Welcome to Sobriety 7 Stories. We have Brooke and Jen all the way from Rhode Island and San Diego visiting me here in sunny Isles. I'm so excited to have them here with me, and we are just going to talk all things sobriety today, our experiences, our journeys, our big life realizations when it came to finally eliminating the toxic poison from our lives and our day to day activities. So, with that being said, welcome, Brooke. Hi, Jen.
Hey.
Talk about Carbone and that experience, that dinner, crying in your pasta. What was that about?
I'm just feeling so grateful because I know I wouldn't be here if I wasn't sober. And I just keep having these little realizations throughout this trip. Like last night, we were at dinner. I wanted to go to Carbone, and we got there and we were all sitting together, and I just felt so wholesome. Like, I would never have met you guys if I didn't get sober. I wouldn't be there if I wasn't sober. And it was just, I felt so whole and so happy and so grateful.
I felt the same way. What do you think that it was like, all right, it's time to like fucking get sober? Like, where were you at in life? Like, what was the conversation that you had with yourself, and like what led you to the moment of, I'm making this decision, I'm staying true to it?
I wanted to be sober for a long time, and I used to think that people would say, well, it's just moderation, just go out and have a couple. And I would go out with that intention, but I couldn't do it. I just felt lost. Um, I just felt stuck and stagnant in the same place that I've been for like years. I feel like all my 20s, like everything was just around drinking. As soon as I moved back to my hometown, it was just that's what everything revolved around. And then it got to the point, people were having kids and people were just moving up in their career. And I was just like, what am I doing? And I started to get really down about it, not like living up. I knew I had so much more potential. I could do so much more. And I just was stuck in this place. Um, I wasn't consistent with anything. Like I was trying to better myself, but I wasn't consistent. Um, so yeah, I just, I really was ready to just leave alcohol behind for a long time. And I found you, and you just like lit a fire under my ass, and that was it. Like I knew I wanted it, but I think I just needed a push. I need somebody outside to believe in me. And ever since, like, that was it. It took one time, and I've been sober since almost 6 months, and I'm feeling better than ever. I'm so happy to be here, and I'm so grateful for Sobriety 7.
Top pumped. I love it. And what would you say, like, the two like big things that help keep you sober and on your path? Like, what are two things that are like really keep you?
It's definitely this community without a doubt.
Mhm.
Having people to hold you accountable. Some days I feel like the hard days, I find it's hard to do it for myself some days, but then I remember the girls and I want to do it for them. I want to be a good role model for them. Um, so some days when I can't do it, and the sisters, I have a whole community that really helps me stay accountable. I don't think I would have been able to get this far without them. A second thing, what was the question?
What are the things that help you stay on your path? Like, so accountability,
Yeah.
like having the community, so like people help
Yeah.
you.
Um, I've had to do less. I don't know how to word this. I've had to do less to be able to make more time for myself. Like pulling back from just like events, friends, still prioritize them, but prioritizing myself more. Um, Getting more strict, having a routine. I never had a routine before. But that makes me feel so much better. The consistency. Um,
Yeah. I think when people think like routine, they think like, oh my God, like I'm so like, it's so mundane and just like doing the same thing over and over. But it's like you actually open up a lot of freedom when you are on a strict schedule. Like, okay, I know where I can move things around, put things in, right? And saying no to people more and saying yes to yourself more.
a routine is really just like I've realized it's just putting yourself first.
Yeah. like showing up for yourself first. And a lot of people who do drink, I found the biggest like common denominator is they're such fucking people pleasers. And so when you're constantly, just show up for everybody else,
Mhm.
and then you don't show up for yourself, and then your cup is so beneath empty, and then you're pouring from what you don't have, and you're just like, oh, whatever, like just pour whatever bullshit I got laying around. And then you not only feel empty because people aren't showing up for you, you're not showing up for you, and then you're going back on your word saying, like, I'm gonna be sober. And that was where I kept like getting back into drinking, because I was like, well, I'm doing so much for everyone. Like, I'll show up at the airport at 2 a.m., but my friend can't watch my dog for an hour. It's just like,
or instead of going to the gym, sure, I'll give you a ride, or I'll come over and help you with this. And you do that so much and you're not filling your own cup.
yeah, it's such a give take relationship. Like, but I was in such a give relationship with most of the people in my life. It was just like give, and then, and not that you need to have like some quid pro quo or take, to receive, or I'm going to do this thing to get something in return. But it comes to a point where it's like your friends should want to fill your cup. Like, having both of you around, it's like I feel like I've definitely had you guys fill into my cup, and it makes it that much easier to fill into yours, opposed to me just fill, and then you guys leave back to fucking Rhode Island and San Diego, and I'm like,
yeah. So many times, like, I would just my friend was like, let's go out to eat, let's go out for a drink, and immediately I would feel bad after I said yes.
Yeah, you're like,
and I feel like that's part of devaluing yourself.
Yeah,
it feels good to say no.
I used to think
that's how you gain confidence, and then you do something for yourself and you feel so much better. It's harder to do it, but you feel so much better in the long run.
that's that delayed gratification.
You just got to say no more.
Like, say no to them and yes to you, and then like, all right, I have extra time now. Like, I would drop a dime like quickly just to like, I have plans with myself tonight. I'm gonna go do a bubble bath. I'm gonna do my nails. I'm gonna do a face mask, my hair. And my friends would text me, and I'd be like, oh, fuck my plans I had with myself. Let me show up for my friends, because like they want me at the bar with them. Like, they love me, they care about me. But then when I get blacked out drunk, and they're just like, oh, I'll just send her home in an Uber, like in an unsafe manner. And it's like, well, what if I didn't get home? What if this Uber driver did something to me? Like, the friend should care enough to be like, did she get home? Like, no text, no call, like, hey, you good? Like, and that was like a very clear indicator, like, all right, like, my friends don't necessarily care. And not that they should. Another adult shouldn't have to babysit another adult. I should be able to take care of myself. But it shows somebody's intentions where it's like they just want you to come out and have fun. Misery loves company. And then you tell them, hey, I'm getting sober. And they're like, you don't have a problem. Like, you haven't like fucked up your life. You haven't wrecked your life, or you haven't blah, blah, blah. Like, there's so many justifications on their end. And then you look at it from your point of view, like, yeah, but I'm miserable and I'm telling you this. Like, I would love your support, but that's the thing. You can't always get other people's support, right?
I was programmed to believe, like, well, I'm going to be cool if I go out with my friends and who can drink the most. And then at the end of the night, I'm like, looking completely horrible, can't comprehend anything, blacked out, not my best self.
Mm-hmm.
And it was actually not the best look. And it's nice to be aware now that when I do go out and I say no, and I see the people that used to be like me, and I feel sorry for them. Like,
Right.
it's so sad, because thought I was so cool at the time, but I was so miserable.
Yeah.
And I was so unhappy with myself.
Yeah. And it's the examples we set, because we look at it from such a selfish standpoint. Oh, I'm gonna get fucked up. Like, I'm gonna be the cool one. I'm gonna fit in. I'm gonna drink the most.
Yeah.
I'm gonna rather than looking at it as a whole and looking at it in a bigger picture. Like, younger women, younger generations look up to us without us even realizing it. They're looking up to us, and when we set the example that it's okay to get absolutely shit faced, it's okay to, not act your best self when you got things going on. It's okay to cope with your emotions and deal with problems this way. And then it shows like, okay, now they're 15, 16, 17 doing the same thing. It's like, we set the example, like, it's all right to like, look, oh my God, so many nights I look so fucking stupid.
Oh my gosh.
Like, Lou picked me up from the beach and I'd fell asleep at the beach. He worked out at 10 o'clock. I drank from 10 to 12. He had a 2-hour workout. He's like, we're headed now. I'm like, I fell asleep at the beach. I had sand all over the left side of my body. I'd get into the car. He's like, what the fuck happened? I'm like, I was drinking from 10 to 12. And no reason, no celebration, no anything. Just like, I'm at the beach. Like, I don't have anything to do today. This is when I didn't work. So I didn't have any purpose. Like, and that's why a big part of sobriety is fulfilling your purpose. So many people are looking for happiness when happiness is just a byproduct of purpose. So it's like if you're filling into your purpose, like you will feel happier, which is having a routine, doing the things you set out to do, and keeping your fucking word to yourself, right?
That's
Yeah.
when I knew like I needed to stop. Like is when alcohol became a priority over
Mhm.
everything else.
Yeah.
You know?
What did you say about your outfits? You like would
Yeah.
like set your outfits up to match what it was you were drinking for?
Yeah, like I would be like, okay, well today I'm in I feel like margaritas, so like let's go to a Mexican restaurant. Let's get all cute for, that theme.
Mm-hmm.
And I would literally it would all be around of what I was in the mood to drink. We wanted to do martinis, it would be a nice steakhouse, like that would be up classy. So it just, that's when I realized I was like, oh my gosh, like I am putting alcohol
At the top.
at the top of my priorities.
Nice. Like alcohol, boyfriend, husband, kids, house, responsibilities, job. Like it was like always the top was like alcohol. Like looking forward to the next
I
drink.
would even put like alcohol, friends, then,
Mm-hmm.
It's like
everything
that was
else.
the thing that I would look forward to, is whatever outing was going to be that weekend.
Yeah.
But then after the outing, I'm like depressed for days. And I'm like, okay, maybe by the end of the week, I'm out on Saturday or I'm out Sunday. Then I go into the first couple days of the week, like hungover, feeling depressed. And then by the time I come around, it's another weekend, it's another thing to do, and it just becomes a cycle.
Yeah.
And you just get stuck.
Yeah.
And that's the part they don't show you. They show the like, buy 3 for 1 drink, have fun. It's normal.
Mhm.
Everyone does it. It's cool, right? But then they don't show you the like the dark parts of it, the like the hangovers, the like throwing up, hugging a toilet, like walking stumbly to. That was always Lou's biggest like indicator that I was drinking, because I would hide it from him.
Mm-hmm.
And I would just like kind of that walk, like you're not walking straight, but you're moving forward, but it's like,
Mm-hmm.
and he's just like, fuck, Cheyenne, like,
You don't have to drink every day for it to impact your life.
Yeah.
Like, I was drinking once a weekend or every other weekend, but I would binge drink, that
Yeah.
whole day.
There's-
The next day with me.
so many levels of drinking.
Yeah.
Like binge drinking, weekend
aftermath.
drinkers, like daily drinkers, like, but I looked it up because I was like, what is excessive drinking, right? Because they want to put you in a category like you're an alcoholic. Like there are so many forms of addiction. There's porn, there's sex, there's gambling, there's drugs, and alcohol being one of the worst drugs. Like I was highly addicted to it because it allowed me to escape. But when you look at it for what it really is, you're like, do I really need this? Does it actually make me confident?
I think like zooming out now that I have this clarity,
Mhm.
and when I look at people and I feel bad, no judgment. Like, when I say,
we've
I'm
all
sorry,
been there.
When I say I'm sorry, when I say I'm sorry for them, like there's no judgment, because
Yeah.
I've been there, and I know, alcohol is it's a way to cope.
Yeah.
And when you see people abusing it, they're coping with something.
Right.
But people who are in that, who are stuck in that mentality, they don't know that it's recreational, it's fun. But like now being outside, like I see they're dealing with something, or they're not dealing with something.
Yeah.
Using alcohol instead.
But I feel like we are programmed to feel like alcohol is so pressured on society nowadays. Like,
Drink.
it's like, what's wrong with you if you don't drink?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
why do you have to be pressured to drink to have a good time? Like, this whole week has been so amazing. I've never laughed so fucking hard in my
We
life.
have laughed.
Oh my gosh. And zero drugs, zero alcohol. Some people just don't feel comfortable. Like, it took time, like,
Yeah.
to feel comfortable in my own skin without alcohol, without any coping mechanisms. And for me, it wasn't just alcohol. Like, there was multiple things I was addicted to.
Right.
It was a whole lifestyle for me.
Yeah.
It was gambling, sex, rock and roll. Like it was that, like I needed to feel like high off life because I didn't fill my own cup. That's what it came down to.
Yeah.
And all in that reality. And when we went to the Bahama Beach, whatever. None of us can say it.
Fucking beach.
And I put my feet in that sand and I was like, wow, I would not be here today if I was not sober. I would have never met Cheyenne. I would have never put me first. I would still be stuck in that fucking miserable cycle that I was stuck in.
And we know, like, we have each other for life.
Yeah.
Like, we have been so connected from day one, and then to meet each other in person is, like, so surreal.
Yeah.
We cry.
I feel like I've known them all my life.
Like,
It's
I'm
weird.
so sad to leave. I know. We
Day one,
talk
yeah.
every single day, but just to be together.
Yeah, when you guys text me like, "Oh, I'm coming over for dinner," I'm like,
Yeah, it's like, see, we've all had these little realizations. Like,
it's like real connections, and that's the part that's got me emotional because I'm like, when we get it together, when we were at the beach, it was like I was just sitting there. I'm like, my old state of being, I'd be like, no, I need to have a drink, like to be able to relax, to have fun, to be present, to be here, to party and to be the life of the party. It's like we collected shells. We like went out to a nice lunch. We had fun. We laughed.
you're back.
We I broke my
Too
back
much floating.
because I was floating. I was sway back, whatever. Like bent over from uptown. I'm like, oh my god. But the point is that you convince yourself, because it is a $1 trillion industry, and they're going to put it in a category of drugs and alcohol. It's separated, but it is a drug. And it's not like they say weed and drugs or coke and drugs or heroin and drugs. It's just like those are drugs and alcohol is okay. And it's sold in, so many stores, so many restaurants, and it's pressured by society, but nobody asks you twice why you don't do coke. Nobody asks you twice why you don't do heroin. But when you tell them I don't drink alcohol, it's like, but why? It's like there doesn't need to be a why. I just am choosing to live a life that I'm proud of, and alcohol always sways you from it because you say one thing and then you do another. I've always said like, oh, I'm not gonna black out. I'm not gonna overdo it while we're at Bahama Beach. Like I'm gonna actually be present with my girls. But had I been drinking, I probably would have blacked out. I probably would have overdone it. And even if I had managed to make it through the day where I didn't, it's like, who would have drove? How would I have acted? I know I was really rude and I would be very like, always trying to be interesting rather than interested. And I feel like that's been like a huge shift with me is like, I'm really interested in what the fuck people have going on in their lives and their story. And when we're sitting there on the beach, it's like we were playing all these like, well, what would you do? Or what would you rather? Or like, what is this? Or like, tell us about your first kiss or like just getting to know each other on a deeper level. And I don't think that you do that when you drink. When you drink, you just talk about bullshit.
You're not present. And that's like another thing. Like I think we're having all these little realizations because we're present. Like those shells you found at the beach, those are so cool. Like, I don't know, just being in nature and
my mind is so clear. I'm not foggy. Like I look at the sky and I'm just like appreciative for their day.
Yes, you're so much more appreciative. And like when you have gratitude, that's just everything. You can recognize those little things. And when you're drinking, like you can't see any of that.
And it wasn't easy getting to today. You have to go through some fucking healing shit with yourself.
To get in your shit.
Yeah, and it's not easy. It's ugly, but every
so much crying
thing that I went through to get here was worth it.
Yeah,
100%.
And saying no is hard, but you know what? Every time you say no, it's for yourself.
Yeah.
It's not for anybody else. It is for yourself and your self-love.
Yeah.
And that's what makes it not hard for me anymore. I used to say yes for everybody else. And now I'm saying no for me. Yeah. And it feels empowering. Like, don't you guys feel like empowered when you guys are like, no.
I'm good.
Yeah, I'm good.
Staying in tonight with the fam. I gotta go. Like, I wanted to go to the beach yesterday with you guys, but I was like, I prioritize what it is I'm doing, and I prioritize you guys. But
Right.
when you have the right people around you, they understand. You guys weren't like, oh, well, you fucking hate us. Like, no, you guys are like, oh, okay, like, I had to work.
Maybe a little bit.
Okay.
No.
I had to work, and I prioritize that because what I'm trying to do is change people's minds around not seeing it as some weird thing for you to not want to poison your body. And it's like life is all about risks. And there are plenty of risks you take on a day-to-day, and you decide, like, am I a smoker? Do I do drugs? Like, do I, eat a shit ton of processed food? Like, whatever your poison is, it's like there are risks whatever way you go in life, unless you're living in like a freaking middle of nowhere in a hut, no electricity around you, no cell phone, no radiation, no bullshit. You're eating off the land. Like, unless you're doing that, which very few people are, it's like you're taking a risk at some point in your day. But if I can eliminate this risk that I've been programmed into believing, like, this makes life better, then I'm going to eliminate it. Because I've seen, today's 10 months, I've seen over the past 10 months how much more I'm able to do, how much more time I have.
Yeah.
So much more.
This year has been the longest fucking year of my life, but that's because I'm so present. And being present, it could be overwhelming sometimes. It can be like, shit, I got a lot of feelings, I got a lot of emotions.
Right.
More things from my subconscious are finally coming up and coming out, these
The
sensations.
social battery.
Is social battery is real.
Yeah.
You're just like around people for too long. You're like, I feel drained. But alcohol convinces you, like,
I can keep going.
I could keep going. I just need another shot. I need more Coke. I need more Adderall.
But then you're out for days after.
And then days after, you're like, wow, like, if I look back at how many days I essentially wasted just staying in bed or being in bed by 5, like eating food that wasn't good for me, watching TV, not doing anything productive. Like, no shit, I was depressed. No wonder I was like,
Yeah.
I hate myself.
I remember like my second week, it was after work, and I just have like these realizations at the funniest times. I was like vacuuming my car and I started crying because I'm like, I haven't vacuumed my car in so long.
Dude, it's
Like, I wasn't sober. Like,
Yes.
You
It's
know,
the little stuff.
Yeah.
those are the little things that accumulated that I just didn't do, whether it was, I was depressed from alcohol or whatever, but I put those things aside, and they just like cleaning my house, cleaning my car, those things sat with me. And then I start feeling like shit about myself.
Yeah.
That sounds silly, and I was just like, wow.
That was such a great point that you brought that up, because I have lists like of stuff like that super overwhelming, and these past like 6 months or 7 months, or how am I at 8 months that I'm
8
sober,
months
or-
on the 14th.
yeah.
8, 10, 6, baby.
And
8,
now,
10, 6.
now those things that were so overwhelming to me at the time, it's like I'm doing it and I'm finishing it, and I'm like, holy shit, like if I was fucking stuck in that cycle, there's no way I'd be finishing these hard overwhelming stuff. And now it's like, let's bring it on. Like, I have the time and I have the patience now, and I'm not scared anymore to do the hard things. Like, do you guys feel like you guys are accomplishing more too?
So much.
Yeah, I didn't want to go to the DMV, and that's why I put it off for a year and a half, because I was like drinking. I was like, I'll get to it. And then finally I was like, I have no excuse now. Like, and I spent 9 hours at the DMV, and I was like, I felt so accomplished by doing the things that I really don't want to do. Is the most rewarding feeling. And it's the small ones along the way, like you're saying, with the back of your car, like getting the barn going. Like, it's just those things that you're like, I've put this off for so long because I thought it was too hard. And now that I've done it, I realized it wasn't hard. I was just procrastinating, like I was getting paid to do so, right? And it's like, you just have to do the things that you want to do. Like they say, if there's a will, there's a way. And I definitely believe that wholeheartedly, because I remember I would wait till like 2 a.m. to hit a 24-hour liquor store. That I was like, oh, it's open. I could drink at 2 a.m., pass out, wake up at 9. Nobody will know when I drink. But like for some reason, I felt like, and this wasn't an everyday occurrence, but there was nights where I was just like, I just want to drink. Like no reason. I just wanted to not be present with myself because I knew what I was doing. You know, if you're this like,
You've got to have hope.
You got to have hope. You got to have realistic expectations. Like, where can I be in the next month? Where can I be in the next 2 months? Not being like, oh, I'm going to change my whole entire life around and handle all the baggage that I've had for the past 20 years. Like, it doesn't work like that. You got to go through it.
I started small. Like at the beginning, I was just like, all right, I didn't drink today. I didn't get anything else done, but I didn't drink today.
Right.
You know, you have to be very kind to yourself at the beginning, because just to like have a day without drinking was a huge accomplishment. And at the beginning, I was sleeping a lot and still going through like, what is life sober? You know, like, what is this? What is going to come of this? Like, there was nothing instant about it. It takes time to, hit those realizations. It doesn't all come to you. And it's really, what's really cool about Sobriety 7, everybody's at different stages.
Mhm.
So like what Cheyenne's experienced, I haven't experienced that. And she's like, oh yeah, I did, we can all relate and help each other. That was like, hey, did you guys like deal with this issue? Like,
Yes.
Yeah, like the drinking dreams, those like happened for me at like month 5 and 6. I had a ton of drinking dreams like around that time. And I don't know why, but I would wake up just freaking out. I'm like,
We would just text each other in the morning.
Did I-
That was happening too.
did I drink? What
Yeah.
the
What was
And then
your
I was
dream?
Oh my god. Those dreams scare the shit out of me. Because then you wake up and you realize like, oh, okay.
or like the flooding memories of stuff that you had suppressed. Like
Oh
that
my-
was the most overwhelming for me.
Yes.
Was all these memories
They
that
come
I had
up, you know?
suppressed, and all of a sudden it's like flashing and it's like overwhelming. And I was like, what do I do with this? Like,
Mm-hmm.
I said, like, I just had to tell my husband. Like, I just sat down with my husband. I was like, here's all this shit that I've been holding back for years and hiding. And I thought I was going to die with these secrets. Like,
Yeah.
and wow, was that powerful.
It's so cliche, but like you really, when you feel those things, you just have to feel them.
Yeah.
You have to, that's how you get it out.
Yeah.
And that's healing, you know?
Feeling is healing. And it really
It
is.
sounds all corny, but I've learned it's true.
So many corny mantras, but so many hit so hard.
They
Like
do.
this too shall pass, and it does. Like
yeah.
you're going through, and I remember my mom, shout out to you, mom, would say that shit all the time. And I was like, you hear one thing in a certain part of your life, and you're like, yeah, whatever. But then one day you wake up and it's like, it all makes sense. Like my dad's fucking mantra was always like, don't hate the player, hate the game. And I never understood it. And it's like, life is unfair for all of us, but you just have to get better at playing the game. Like you got to get better at playing the cards that you were dealt. And sometimes you have shittier cards, but it's like, what kind of game are you playing in life right now? Like, are you showing up? Are you like keeping that poker face? Like, I might have shitty cards, but nobody knows. Like, let's actually like play the game. And with my mom, like this too shall pass, because it does. It's like you think that the feeling will last forever.
Yeah.
And the longer you go in avoidance of feeling that thing that it is you need to feel in order to survive. And I say survive because when I was drinking, like I was barely surviving. I was just alive. I was not living to any degree. Like I wasn't doing shit like we've done all this weekend. Like this to me is living, like doing things and experiencing the moments and being present. Like had we been drinking last night, it's like we wouldn't have remembered it. We would have had an expensive like dinner bill. Like our mocktails were like 15, 20 drinks. Like I can't even imagine. And that right there alone, just the amount of money.
Oh my gosh. That's what I mean.
The amount of money. Right.
This is her second time.
Yeah.
Second time she's here, and it's
I
like,
am saving fucking so much money.
I went last time I came to freaking Miami. I can't even tell you how much I spent.
I've added up a year's worth of drinking. Like I tallied it up from like, and that's not to with the cash, but it was like around $14,000
No
for
strip clubs on this trip.
all the money I've put into drugs.
It was like 4,000 a month for me. So whatever that is times 12, like that's what
48.
a lot. A
48,000.
lot. We just saw the bill. We just saw a bill from EDC. Somebody spent $250,000 on booze.
I know, and that was always another thing. You know, it's like I would start with one drug, start with drinking,
Yeah.
and then I'll be like, let's keep it going. Let's get more drugs. Let's get ecstasy. Let's get Molly. Let's get coke. Let's get.
And then I couldn't, and
then
then
you
you
can't
get to a
stop.
point you can't drink without doing the other shit, and then
Yeah.
more
'Cause now
money,
you're
more
dependent.
depression, more.
And it just makes you feel so
Like,
fucking
wow.
empty. You're just like, but now, it's like the highs were high then and the lows were really fucking low. And now it's just kind of like mild out. It's just like,
it's so.
it's just like a
that
little
is
wave.
So nice too.
it's nice.
To just feel like you have a
It's
balance.
normal. And it's so like cliche to say like, oh my God, I feel normal. But I like literally feel like a normal human being.
Yeah.
Like,
And it's funny because they tell you to drink to be normal, drink to fit in, drink to be like everyone else. But it's like if everybody else, you know, it's drinking to fit in. It's like, look at the people who aren't. It's like, that's a big part of where it came for me. It's like, do I admire myself? And it's like, who do I admire? And the people that I admire, there was two of them. And both of them didn't drink. And I admired that. I respected that. I'm like, wow, they can like really just be themselves and be here and be present without any liquor courage, right? And this liquor courage, only gives you an extended amount of courage. And then it subsides when the potion wears off. And it's like, so if you want to truly be confident, you have to train yourself to be confident. And you can do it. It's not like we're playing in the sandbox as kids, like freaking 8, 9 years old, like, man, I could really go for a White Claw right now, so I could be confident to go and ask, Jimmy if he wants to build a sandcastle with me. It's like, no, you are programmed from a young age to see, like, your parents drink, your friends drink, your circle drinks. Somewhere you were influenced by it, and now this is normal to you because everybody does it. Everybody drinks. It's normal.
But then you start relying on it to just, like, function.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that was a big thing for me after I stopped drinking. I was just like, all my insecurities really came out, and I'm like, wow, I really masked a lot of them with alcohol. I'm like going to the store, I'm like, oh my god, people are looking at me, they're thinking this and that, but then I just kept doing like the hard things, getting past the hard days, and that builds confidence, and then you feel better about yourself. You don't feel like you need alcohol to function.
Yeah, you went on a date.
Yeah.
And you're like, I haven't been on a date sober
in 10 years.
In 10 years.
A fucking decade.
And she was so fearful of it, she almost canceled. I'm like, just do it.
Yeah.
And then when she did it, she's like, honestly, it wasn't that bad.
It was great.
And now they're together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it worked out, obviously. And that just goes to show you don't need alcohol to do the things that you did while you were drinking. It's like, if anything, you're more present. And then you also figure out the things that you don't want to do. Like, I don't want to go sit in a bar. That's just me. Unless I have a pool table. Like, then I'll go. I don't mind being around it. I don't want everyone else to have to change because I'm changing my life.
Yeah.
Continue doing you, right? You went to Stagecoach.
Yeah.
How was that experience?
So the week leading up to it, I contacted Cheyenne. I'm like, I don't know, man. This is going to be hard. Like, no alcohol. Like, I'm actually thinking about, like, going backwards. Like, and this is real life because your brain tricks you. You start to think like, well, maybe I can be, moderate.
Normal.
No. Yeah, maybe I can, And then it was my 15-year-old daughter's first time going to a concert. And it was me, my husband, and my daughter. And we got there and people were already trashed. And I was like, oh my god, that girl that just fell on the grass. I was like, that used to be me. Like, I used to pre-party. And then I saw all the long lines. People were waiting for like an hour to get their first beer. And I was like, what a waste of time. Well, we could be watching and appreciating the artists that are on stage.
Yeah.
So that was a really big realization because there was just like, everything was based around alcohol at Stagecoach, to be honest, and people were trashed. And when people found out that I wasn't drinking, they were like, what? You're what? You're not drinking? They're like, man, I wish I could be like that. I said, you can.
Yeah. So many wishes
like that.
I was the other night when I went dancing with my new friend who I met that day, and we're like, let's go out dancing. She doesn't drink, and I was like, let's go dancing. Like, let's go. And we were there watching everybody just fucking shit face, like falling, slipping on their own drinks. I'm like, that also used to be me for a very long time.
Long time.
And then we were just dancing, and everyone, we were the crowd favorite. Like, not to toot my own horn, but I usually am when it comes to dancing. Like, throw it back. But I love to dance. And I love to be expressive when it comes to dancing. Whatever dance move. It could be Cabbage Patch, it could be the fucking disco. It doesn't matter. Like, I am moving my hips, and they do not lie.
Some headbanging.
But people are like, oh, like, you guys are awesome. Like, let me buy you drinks, like, on me. And I'm like, nah, I'll take an unroofied water. Please. Because, and then they ask you, like, oh, you're seriously not drinking? Like, no, this is all me, baby. Man, people have a very hard time understanding that because they lack the ability to do that, I could never go and do karaoke. I could never go dancing
Yeah.
without some drinks in me first. Like, but why? Who told you that? Like, what are you afraid of?
Right.
I'm afraid of that first date. Will you do it? And then it's like, well, fear is bullshit.
Yeah.
Fear is just
Fear
trying to
keeps
keep
you
me down.
stuck.
Yeah.
And then you do these things and you realize you're capable of it, and that's what builds your confidence.
And that's what alcohol eliminates is your your true confidence, like your real confidence. And alcohol says like, oh, like you can only go up there and sing freaking whatever if you drink me. And then it's like it takes your ability away to be like, is there any volunteers who want to like get up here and sing? Like you can't just be that guy who pops up like confident, like, yep, I'll do it. Like, oh, but have you had anything to drink yet? Like, no, like this is just me, baby.
No, give me the mic, bitch.
Give me that shit. I want to sing it. Right?
And the coolest thing about Stagecoach was me being to show the next generation, my daughter,
Yeah.
that you can still dance, have fun, have the best time, and do it without any
People
substances.
respect you for doing the hard thing.
They do. There's the weird
Look up
ones.
to you.
Not weird, because I remember being like, I would think like the people who weren't drinking, like when I was a little bit younger, like, oh, fucking square. Like, what's wrong
Exactly.
with you? Like,
I was so judgy.
I was super judgy. But then I got to a point where I was like, I got a little bit older and I got over the shit of drinking because I'm like, I spend so much money. I don't like who I become.
Yeah.
Right.
A little bit or a lot of it of drinking. Like, I just don't like who it makes me. I like who I am sober, but because I was always around people who like felt less than when I was myself, because I'm a big personality, I would drink to minimize that so other people could feel comfortable for me to be around. Now I'm like, if you can't handle me, then it's like you realize like these just are my people. And that's the thing, like your people are out there. They are. And they want to see you thrive. They want to cheer you on. They're not like, it must be fucking nice to live in Florida. Like, do you know the steps it took for me to get here? Like that shit was rigorous.
All of my friends who have told me, like, Brooke, you are just so much better sober. Like, you are just your best self.
Yeah.
Like, those are the people in my corner. And the people I haven't heard that from are like the people I was drinking with.
Yeah.
Mhm. Because it makes you look inward and they don't want to do that.
No.
And it's not, because I have friends who drink and I'm not like talking my shit. They know where I stand. I mean, I got a whole fucking Instagram on it. Like, they know where I stand with drinking. They don't offer it to me. Like, but I always tell them, like, have your drinks. Do you. Right? And if ever comes a day that you need to get sober, like, hit me up on Sobriety 7.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I will help you.
This is my journey.
Yeah.
You know, my significant other does drink.
Yeah. And it's fine.
He doesn't have an issue or whatever, you know, he doesn't, he was always taking care of me. He was always babysitting me.
So it's a responsible one.
He was always the driver just so I could get, you know, blacked out because I could never have like one or two. I would all or nothing type of personality here. So I had to go all the way.
Because if you're using it to cope, you just keep needing more because it's not fixing what you
what you're running from. And that's the thing. A lot of people abuse it because it was one of the girls in our community said it perfectly the other night. She's like, I realized there was a problem and I was very addicted to it when I stopped enjoying the drink and I started chugging the drink.
Yeah.
And to get its benefit. And I'm like, I resonate with that. It's like, could I in my life now, being 10 months sober, get to a point where I could have a drink? I'm like, I always tell Lou, because we talk about it, I'm like, I'm sure I could. Because I've dealt with a lot, but I continue to deal with more and I keep wanting a better relationship with myself.
Mhm.
And I know that alcohol would be a hindrance in that.
Correct.
And you have that voice that's like, you can. It's like, just because I can doesn't mean I have to. And that's where I found the difference. It's like, I have a choice to say no and I'm going to continue choosing no because I've seen how amazing my life has become. And if there's even just the slightest chance that me having that 1-2 drinks because I can handle it puts me back, I'm fucking good.
It's a great point, Shai.
Thank you. It made me have goosebumps.
That is
Even confidence, like I'm in a relationship and I know you guys are too. At the beginning of getting sober, like I didn't even have confidence to have sex sober with my significant other. Like
That was a toughie.
that is tough, and I feel like that is a common issue. Like that's why people tend to, well, you know, I don't feel comfortable with myself. Like, you know, how is this going to affect my relationship?
Yeah.
You know, and then it
does.
just once you start like loving yourself and like filling your own cup, like it was a good couple months for me, but all of a sudden it's like now I feel so confident in myself. It's like, bring it on.
That's the thing. Alcohol confused my sexuality. Not like boy or girl, but there's things that I would do and say in that intimate setting that, you know, I thought my partner would find more sexy and
Yeah.
attractive. And then I was like, ugh, like that doesn't turn me on. Like,
Yeah.
I don't like that I even said that. And then you sober up and you're like, remember you said that thing? It's like,
Yeah.
no, but I was drunk. Or like to the point where like, you know, as soon as you get home, sometimes you just fucking like once you're home, you black out. Like the alcohol catches up.
Yeah.
I would black out, and it's like
Lay down, and
lay down and just like be spinning or pass out. He's like, you fell asleep last night, like mid sex, and it's just like, fuck, man, like.
Yeah.
And so now I'm at a point where it's like I'm there, I'm present, I know my body. I only say things that like I know I'm comfortable with, and it's getting comfortable with your body because that's even a people pleaser thing. And
It is.
And
It's
sex
like-
is so much better.
sex is so much better.
So much better.
And you actually get to that end point.
And like
Yeah.
we talked about this in our we've talked about it in our community, and like
Yeah.
everybody agrees, like all across the board.
Yeah.
Everybody's changed.
Because we're feeling.
You're feeling it, you're actually like, oh, like you think it's better, but it's not. It's like you're not even there.
No.
And like I wouldn't
Yeah.
even care if I got to that end point. I'd be like, oh, it's done. Like, cool,
Yeah.
pass out now. And it's like you're not actually close to that person.
No.
And I believe sex brings you closer.
Yeah.
Like I think having true intimacy, which isn't even sex related, like being able to say like, hey Lou, like I really need your help with this. Like, and that was a hard thing. I want you to ask that question.
Yeah.
But I was like, I really need help. Like I'm really struggling. Like I can't get past this 3-month mark.
Yeah.
That voice keeps coming up in my head. Like I need fucking help with this. Like I know I'm not this person. That's why I never said I was an alcoholic. I was like, I have an addiction problem to the substance that allows me to escape my shit.
Yeah.
And this is my attempt at fixing it, but it's not solving anything. My problems are multiplying, and I'm getting to the point where I'm fed up. I'm having dark thoughts. Like I don't want to live anymore. Like I'm over it. And so he helped me. And by him helping me, he just helped me reframe the way that I view alcohol for what it exactly is. It's like it's keeping you from where you want to be. It's like he always saw that light in me that I couldn't see because alcohol was blinding me from it. And once I got sober, I was like, I see the light that he saw in me, right? Namaste, I see the light within you, within me.
I love that.
But he helped me, and I had to ask. And for some reason, I had done everything in my life by myself and been such a rock hard, solid person. So that when I had to ask somebody for help, I was like, I felt less than.
Yeah.
But then it allowed me to be more than. So it's like, ask the damn question. If you need help, like, speak up. It does not
This
make
is
you
what you
weak.
do for everybody now.
Exactly. Like, speak up about it. Ask for help because that doesn't make you weak. That shows that you're not willing to give up.
Oh my god, that is like the biggest thing I've learned in sobriety is that being vulnerable, society looks at as like you're weak, you know?
Oh, she's
But you're-
crying. Are you okay?
You're actually stronger for talking about your feelings.
Yeah.
Which
It's
is like a thing I hate. I'm still working on that. That's gonna take a long time, but every time I talk about it, I feel better. I get better, and I'm strong for that. I'm not weak for that.
And I've seen that shift with you. Because before I was like, you know, they say like the best comedians, the people who have the driest humor, the funniest ones, they have like an immense amount of pain that they're coping with their dry humor.
Is that me?
Oh, it's you. But not anymore. Now she's expressive. Now I'm expressive because I was the same exact way. I was just like, yeah, like my dad died, like would make jokes about it.
Yeah.
And then I realized I'm like, no, this really fucking hurts. It sucks to have the person that you love no longer here, no longer there to be able to call them and ask for help or guidance. Not that, you know, him being a drunk would have been able to help me a lot, but it was nice to hear his voice. And it was nice to know that the person who brought me into this earth was still here. Now, when I want to give him a call, he's not there. And that's because he let the battle of addiction win. And rather than saying, I'm going to face the fact that my mom left. I'm going to face the fact that my dad also had the same addiction issues. I'm going to face the fact that I lost my marriage and lost my 4 kids. Like, I'm going to face that and I'm going to become better. But it gets to the point where it is about choices. No one was at the liquor store with a gun to my face saying, like, drink this or die. It was like, no, I decided it for myself. And that's the thing.
No,
You
but
choose.
that for you.
Exactly. And you can't continue to choose wrong and expect there not to be consequences. You choose wrong long enough, it becomes harder to choose right for yourself because now your body is dependent on it. Now your lifestyle is dependent on it. You don't see a way out because you've dug yourself so deep into this hole where you can't even see the light anymore. And that's where he was at. And I was like, maybe if I would have been at this point in my life, I could have helped him. But it's the thing where it comes down to you can't help anybody who's not willing to help themselves. right? Because you can't be with somebody 24/7 all day and all night and like trying to get them to want this for them. Like you want this, like you want to be here, you want to be at 6, 8, 10 months. Like it's great.
It's hard for people to understand that concept
And-
if they
yeah.
haven't.
I feel like this, you talking about that, alcohol does not discriminate against anybody.
No.
There's the low of the low and the high of the high. Like everybody's dealing with this internal fight,
Yeah.
you know.
Everybody's shit is different, you know.
Everybody
all-
has a
But it's all
story.
pain. It doesn't matter what level.
It's-
of pain
it is.
it's
Subjective. It's
Yeah.
subjective that, okay, sure, like a family of 5 died and I lived, or it's like, oh, my mom used to be super condescending and talk shit to me. Like, it doesn't matter the degree. You can't say, oh, this is harder than this. It's like, it's subjective. To me, this was hard growing up. So this is why I feel like I need to escape. And it doesn't have a preference, like you say. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, I've seen people who have, you know, the white picket fence have everything going for them, right? But they still feel like I was missing something.
Yeah.
because all you know is what you've been through.
Exactly. So people could look at someone like me and they could look at someone like the Kardashians, like, oh, the Kardashians, they have it so easy, whatever. It's like, you don't know their life. You don't know what it's like to be on TV, to have all of your shit out there, to have the family unit that, and I use them as an example because everybody knows the fucking Kardashians. But you don't know if their life is easier. They may have more money, but you don't know what it is that they go through mentally
No.
battling every single day because we don't prioritize talking about mental health and we only look at the physical attributes of people like, oh, they, you know, they look like they're okay. It's like looks can be deceiving because when I was 113 pounds and my, you know, I was like, I looked like my best. I was the most miserable I'd ever been in my life because I thought if I change the physical part of my body and I'm accepted by everyone, then I'll be happy. When I get the certain job, when I get the boyfriend, when I move out on my own, then I'll be happy. When you realize that happiness stems from inside. And you have a never ending flow of joy, but you decide what brings you happiness. So that's why I'm big on
Decider.
you are the decider. You decide what makes you happy. You decide what's enough. And if you decide that this is enough, me getting out of bed, then that's enough. But if you're trying to be like, oh, it's not enough because he doesn't say it's enough, or she doesn't say it's enough, or they don't think it's enough, like you're always going to disappoint someone.
Correct.
Couldn't pee my pants.
That's another thing, like for me, putting me for once and not caring about other people's feelings, because that's the people pleaser of me. I cared about everybody's feelings.
We all have that trait
Yeah,
too, the
yeah.
people pleasing trait.
Yeah, we talked
We
about
all
that in the
have this in our
beginning.
community.
You know, the fact that I'm putting my feelings first, I feel so empowered and I make better decisions and my cup's fulfilled and I love myself for once.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm such, by doing that, you're not selfish for doing that. Because as a people pleaser, I'm like, oh, I'm being so selfish because I'm putting my feelings 1st.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm actually taking care of myself so I can be the best mom.
Yes.
I can be the best wife. I can be a good friend.
Yep. Amen.
And it's just as simple as like, you know, getting up and going to the gym. I know when I don't, I'm feeling bad about myself. I'm irritated. I'm like antsy. But then when I go, then I come home and I get myself ready for the day, which then makes me feel even better. I'm going to work. I can give more to the people at my job. You fill your cup and then you fill other people's cups.
Me and Brooke saved a marriage yesterday, and it was all
Oh my
over our conversation about
We didn't tell
sobriety.
you about this, but this was
Yeah,
cool.
that's why I wanted to tell you this at dinner. So, Brooke gets a Uber. We go and have a beach day, bougie beach day,
Bougie
down at
beach
our
day.
friend's place over by the beach. And me and Brooke were just like, we've been in such a goofy, like, laughy mood.
Yes,
like,
we're just high off
Yeah.
each other.
we are
Never met each other before.
in person.
This is the first time, and I've just listened to them all weekend, just like shoot the shit
And banter.
and banter,
Talk shit.
music,
Yeah.
talk shit to each other. Stay in the Airbnb, give me a heart attack, scared me in the Airbnb. Huh, died.
Yes.
But whose marriage?
So, and then we jumped in the Uber, and he was like, so have you guys had a few cocktails? Because we were like
Yeah.
being goofy and
Yeah.
stuff. And we're like,
No, this is us.
yeah, no, this
Call
is
me,
just us.
baby.
We're like, we don't drink. He goes, really? You guys don't drink? And he goes, man. And then we were telling him we're actually here because our sobriety journey.
Yeah.
And he goes, really? And
He's like, worst state you could have picked.
he goes, well, I know a friend
Yeah.
that could really
Benefit.
from this, what you guys are going through. And he goes, can I tell you something? And we're like, sure.
Yeah,
He goes,
it's the tea.
yeah. He goes, I just left my wife for 23 years for this other lady, and she has like an issue. And so we prayed for him, and
all together. Like,
all together. And he told us his story, and he goes, you know, guys, I'm gonna go back to my wife, and I'm gonna break it off with that lady tonight.
he was struggling financially.
Yeah.
And, you know, this woman that he left his wife for, she's been like distant now that he's having a hard time making money. Her true colors are coming out. He wants to go back to his wife. You know, I feel like people can judge him, but if he's not happy, he's not happy, and he did what he did. But you know, now he's learning from it. But we took a minute. Jen had his hand on his shoulder, and we all prayed for him. And he was like, you know what, you guys? Jen's like, you know, some people we come in each other's path for a reason. He's like, I just started Ubering yesterday.
Yeah.
Trying to make some extra money.
Yeah.
And he was like, he put his hand out, and he was like, he was so grateful. And boom!
Same marriage, but you take time because you care more. People think like you care more when you drink and that you know, like, I'm being such a good person, good friend, but it's like you're really not. And now it's like you guys saved a marriage, you're taking more time. And for that man, it's like you think the grass is greener on the other side, but it's not. It's greener where you water it. And that sounds another fucking cliche, but it's like with your sobriety, it's like, oh, you think it's better because you're drinking. No, it's like it's better where you're applying yourself and going to the gym and making yourself look nice and presentable and saying yes to yourself and no to others because not that you're selfish, but because you want to be able to give the best version of yourself to the world. And you can't do that when you're constantly showing up for everyone else but yourself.
And like, I wanted to say this earlier, but just me, like taking care of myself now and being around my friends, I have influenced them so much, like just without even trying.
The power of
You know, they're like,
influence.
Brooke, give yourself grace. I'm like, what? Doing that. And then I've got another friend, she's like lifting weight, you know, she hasn't worked out in a long time. She's like trying to tone. They're just taking care of themselves.
Yeah.
You know, they're being easy on themselves. And I'm like, I did that for them, which I love because I love these people more than anything.
Well, sobriety is very influential. Not even just sobriety, but personal development. And it's amazing. It's the butterfly effect. We talk about it. The butterfly effect is so powerful, so prominent and strong in other people's lives because when they see you as an equal, we're all friends, we've been friends, we used to drink together, and they see you starting to get your shit together, they're like,
I mean, I gotta get my shit together.
Does it? It's not something so far-fetched. It's not like, you know, somebody like that they look to, like they haven't met, they don't know on a personal level, but they look to you like, I know her, like, and she's been through so much shit, and like she's getting her life together not because she has to, but because she really genuinely wants to. No one's forcing.
And she looks good.
And she looks damn near good, honey.
She is happy, honey.
Hotmail.com.
Jen at hotmail.com. But that's the thing. It's like you start to show up for yourself and you start to influence other people and people start to see you differently and they respect you on like a whole different level. And, you know, you could be that person and you could be watching this. And I hope this reaches somebody who needs to hear it. Like, I didn't think that I had a problem because I saw it as so normalized that you black out. And sometimes you don't black out, but you just feel like shit and you don't feel your best self. I'm like, that's normal. Like, a lot of people, like, joke, like, oh, hair the dog that bit you. Like, just keep drinking the next day and you'll feel better. Like, I saw it as normal and I didn't see it as a problem. But now looking back at it, I definitely see it as a problem because I was so heavily reliant on it and it just created more messes than it did solutions. And I was looking for solutions when all I ever found was messes and just how your body feels. Like I would feel achy even if I had one glass of wine. Like, cause there were nights later into my, like the end of my drinking days, like I was very conscientious of how much I was drinking towards the end. You know, I had help with Lou and I was like, I'm gonna 1-2 glasses tonight, I'll be good.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and then like
bottles later.
and I just felt horrible. And I know my Instagram looks colorful, like I was always like getting beat up or passed out or fucking beating cheese burrito on me, but like not every single night looked like that. There are a lot more normal nights, but I just, at the end of the day, just didn't like who I was, didn't like
Right.
how I felt. And if you're watching this, like contemplating, like, should I get sober? Like, if it feels like it's time, like, to just do it, to make the
Oh my
decision.
gosh. Oh my gosh. Okay.
Go.
One thing
Or did you just raise your hand?
I did. I've also wanted to say this so many times. Oh my god, ADD.
Me too. I'm next.
Oh my god, I'm gonna forget. I have to say it right
Shit.
now. So like one thing that really hit me in the beginning was, okay, I have to think of it. It's not as hard to stop, as it is to stay. So wait, no. That's the opposite. Fuck.
It's easier to, once you stopped, it's easy to keep the momentum. The hardest part is stopping.
The hardest part is stopping. Yes. It's harder to stop sobriety. I mean, no.
Stop drinking.
Bro, I like live by this and I can't even say it. Yes, it's harder to stop drinking than it is to maintain sobriety. I wish I could word it in a better way. It's harder to stop drinking than it is to be sober.
Yeah. No.
But it really is like, I wanted to be done for years. I knew that I was like checked out. I was like stuck, just kept on gaining weight and just stuck in the same place, not going anywhere, depressed, yada, yada, yada. And then I stopped and like, I just haven't looked back. I'm so good. I love this so much. I have hard days where I think about it for a minute, but it's just a moment and then it passes.
I think before you drink.
So much better now than ever, and I would just never jeopardize that again.
I got to a point where, is this serving me anymore?
No.
Is it pushing me ahead? And that's the thing, where it's like, you're gonna have bad days. They just fucking happen. And those bad days become less and less. And even if you have a bad day, you realize like, okay, there's so many moments in the day, like I could turn this around with gratitude. Like, what am I thankful for? Cool, I got a house, I got food, I got myself. Like, I have people who care about me genuinely. So it's like, is it serving me? No.
No.
Is it gonna solve my problems? No. It's like my same problems I'm having right fucking now will be there tomorrow. I will just have the regret on top of that of going back on my word, which is I'm sticking to my sobriety because it enhances the quality of my life. It enhances the quality of my state of being. And I'm able to do more and be more. And isn't the life we want to live is to be more?
Life is good, man.
Life is fucking good.
And yes, it's gonna be hard, but it's worth it.
You can do hard things.
Yes.
You can do hard things.
Well, she told me that every single day for
Yeah.
like the first month.
And you
Yeah.
pick your mantras that
all right.
that resonate with you. Like first it was like you could do hard things, and it was 1% better, and then this too shall pass, and then it's like sit with your shit. Like you just start picking up things and like at different parts of your sobriety because it is a journey. And so many people are like looking for the destination. I remember I said I wasn't gonna start an Instagram page or a YouTube until like I hit that year mark, because in my head I was like, a year, that means like I've got it figured out. I was like, no, every single day you choose yourself over drugs and the escapes that it allows you to have is a day to celebrate, is a day to be like, I am victorious. Like I've won this battle. And if I keep continuing to win these battles, like eventually I'll win the war over addiction that is had on me in my life and my family's, and breaking that generational curse that they say that, each family has. And I finally was able to look at myself in a lens of like, wow, I'm really proud of myself. I'm really happy that I decided to do this, but it was not easy getting to that point. Like a lot of things had happened where I was just like looking at my life like, wow, like it's just, this ain't what it's cracked out to be. Like what they're selling is bullshit. This is fucking bullshit.
Cracked out or cracked up?
Cracked up, cracked out.
And what I heard to say, like, what's different by this time getting sober than any other time, because I have never made it past 90 days
Mm-hmm.
in the past 20 years. Like,
Birthday.
yeah, and my birthday was a big trigger for me, because you have triggers,
Mm-hmm.
and what this did for me is that I was able to dig deep and journal and heal stuff that I was never able to do before. Like I didn't have the tools
Mm-hmm.
the last 20 years to stay sober. because I didn't know it was internal. I didn't know it's because I hated myself. I didn't know it's because of all these deep stem rooted issues that I never addressed. So with Sobriety 7, from day one, boom, you're journaling. You're going there. You're asking those questions. You're digging deep. Why? And it makes you have those conversations with yourself and like, wow, this pen to paper, I did not know that this was a trigger, or I did not know that this is how I truly felt about myself.
You start writing, and then it just opens up all these things.
Yeah, and that's the start of the healing process.
Yep. And it's a process for sure. But once you make that first decision that it's like, I'm going to start choosing me, I'm going to start picking me over friends and over, the plans that they make, like just showing up for myself. Fill your cup.
Shit just starts coming out.
And it just happens. Like, fill your cup with positive things. Don't fill it with bullshit. Don't fill it with beer, tequila, fucking wine, vodka.
Yeah.
Like, fill it with substance. Like, that makes your life better and more purposeful. Like, I'm gonna start doing the things that I said I was gonna do. And I'm gonna show up for me. And it's gonna be hard. But it makes it a lot easier when you have somebody to keep you accountable. And it makes it a lot easier when you have a community rooting you on and doing it together. This is Sobriety 7 Stories, and thank you so much for listening to this 5-hour podcast. I know how long this is. I gotta pee.
I got
Sobriety 7.
This has been an amazing podcast, and thank you guys for being here and doing this with me.
And it's Cheyenne's 10 months.
We're just blowing out all the mics. All right.